Hi, welcome to Waiting on the Lord. Today is February 22nd. A lot of things I want to cover today. We are saved through God's grace alone, through faith in Jesus Christ and not of works. I wanted to get something out of the way real quick at the beginning of this. I'm not well. Like, I'm really sick. I'm having like right in the middle of, or right in the beginning of another attack of kidney stone. I can't begin to tell you how hard it is to make these videos. If I have to stop making them, all I can say is, I wish to see all you people, all fellow brothers and sisters, in heaven, new earth, millennial kingdom. That's what I hope. I can't do this if it's this. My stress is so much. I have 12 pain disorders, and 3 of them in my abdomen, and it's just so hard to just write this stuff up and then do it. But you know what? I hope to give also. I just want to talk about God. That's it. I want to talk about what's going on in the world, and I hope to give hope to people who are struggling through pain and mental health, because this is brutal. I feel like crying. I'm not kidding. It's like this kidney stone is lighting up the rest of my body and then all my neuropathic pain in my body. So I'm going to get to this. It's very hard to make a video when you're having a kidney stone. So whether you're pre, mid, or post-tribulation, we're all waiting on the Lord. And we know He's coming soon because of the blatant signs. Anyone now would be blind not to see. And I heard someone make an analogy yesterday that, if by now even non-believers don't see there's something wrong, then there's something wrong with them, right? There's something wrong in their mind. There's something wrong with the people that they can't, they just don't know the Bible. And so spread that word. So Jesus came here as a man. I'm going to be talking, by the way, today about the WF and a lot of different stuff, like the church. Jesus came here as a man to feel like we do. That's not the only reason. He knows how we feel now in our human bodies, and He can testify to our troubles, our weaknesses, sins, lusts. Jesus died a brutal death, and I know you hear that all the time, but let me explain my own story. In 2007, I got an injury to my abdomen. That's the reason I have that big scar from top to bottom, and it was serious. I was literally screaming out loud till they put me out in surgery. When I woke up from surgery, I had like heavy staples all the way from my sternum to my pelvis. For 3 days, I moaned in pain, and I couldn't sit up at all. In that time, I was like my scar from them, cutting open. There was an injury. I won't say what that is, but I was moaning in pain, and I couldn't sit up. In that time, I was burning. It was tearing. It was worse than I want to explain. I'm gonna link something in here too. It's Jesus. It's from Passion of the Christ. It's just a scene. Literally makes me tear up. I can't watch that without tearing up. And I couldn't sleep for 72 straight hours while I was in that state. Jesus came here, and He did it voluntarily. I do know how much pain He felt. So when you say the nails in the hands, I know what that feels like. I know how much pain this is. That He was completely innocent and did it because He loves us and was saving us from what was done in Eden. We were never meant to feel pain and illness or even die. I read an article that explains something I couldn't understand before. Why didn't God destroy Satan right then and there? God couldn't lie to us because He can't. It's impossible. He said, we will surely die, This is what, people who don't understand anything about the Bible, they talk about, why is there evil? Why would God allow this and that? Well, read Genesis. He said we will surely die, and Jesus reversed death for us to relive what was meant to be. If God killed the angel Satan, who like humans has free will, killing him would cause free will to stop. I read an article that was very good, and it wouldn't be free will anymore. Everyone would be scared, and there wouldn't be any more free will, right? That explanation satisfies me. It wasn't just any angel either. It was the top angel, the morning star. I can't watch this without crying, so that's a link I'm going to give later if I can find it again. My stomach is just stabbing, man. Thanks for the prayers about not needing medications. This was my concern. I just want to tell you what my concern was in my other video. It's not about fear, it's not about being scared and all that, but kind of is. You have to be in my spot. This was my concern about possibly going through tribulation, okay? So just one of my pain disorders is equal to terminal cancer pain in my legs and lower back. It's called adhesive arachnoiditis. And that's just one of 12. If I don't get my opiates, so I would die a bad death. I can't walk without it. I would be couch or bed bound. It's the one disorder primarily treated with opiates, so it's the only one in the world that's the first thing that they use. It's called the devil's disease. In my last video, I put the story and picture of Elijah fed by ravens. The thought of all this going down and stores and pharmacies closing troubles me because I live on a very tight string. You get my point, right? Put yourself in my shoes. If this wasn't happening to me, my faith would be much better towards going through a possible tribulation. If the raven ships opiates, I'm good. It is a scary thought, and I speak to God a lot about that. So I'm going to get to my video here in just a sec. Like, what happens in a war? We have yet to see in that a war. What would, so many people are on medications. Before I begin, let me know in the comments what part of the Bible frustrates you when you're learning it. For me, it's when the genealogies, when there's genealogies come up, and they're like 2 pages long. Also, I find prophecy hard because there are so many hidden meanings behind it, like it could mean Jesus, it could mean something that happened. It's not a straightforward story, and you have to keep searching what the passage means. I like looking at it. Sometimes, when I read the passage, I open another window and I look to see what it means. There's plenty of places you can find out. I like a flowing story. About Seventh-day Adventists. I don't. Just the things that I believe. Many principles are the same. I'm not saying I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I don't believe they're in Ellen and White. I don't believe there's a new prophet. I don't believe there's a woman prophet. I believe there is a hell. And as far as the Jews, I know they're special to God, and I just won't go further than that. I didn't say. Okay. I wrote that down. So I know that Jesus spoke about hell twice more than heaven to keep us aware from that danger. I celebrate the Sabbath in my own way because, like in Daniel, they will attempt to change times. So go look that up. They will attempt to change times, which was done by changing God's holy day, which is a massive deal, is it not? It surprises me how many Christians don't discuss it. When I delved into the Vatican and the apostasies, I felt physically sick. I encourage anyone to do the same. Just go look what was made by the church and not biblical to get an idea, and there are lists to look over. Does anyone else feel that it's possible that the Pope could be the false prophet? He's using climate change to get attention, don't you think? Like a lamb, but speaks like a dragon. I'm not saying he is, but he's doing strange things out of context for any pope in our time and for many, many years. I feel very strongly about it. Pardon me a second, guys. No matter what I do to my diet, I can't stop them. I'm just prone to kidney stones. The birth pains. Jesus kept his promise, didn't he? Those pains were minuscule compared to 2019 and on. And after COVID, and especially the Ukraine, NATO or the US is pushing for World War III. And I'm as serious as I can be. I know about war. It's quite obvious that's what they're doing. I do believe Putin wants peace. When you hear of one disaster, you barely get time to recover, and bam, there's another. We have reached a point where in one single morning and afternoon, there are 5 to 10 bad stories that in 2018 and before would take center stage. Let's be honest, some of these are made by man, and some by God. He just told us that they would be, right? He just said there would be signs. He didn't say if it was going to be directly by him. If you don't know God, people are just stunned and perplexed. Maybe that's a way we're made to expect this and not to be taken by surprise. In my search for truth in the Vatican and what all the symbols meant, I was taken to the United States and Washington, right from Rome. And I learned this, nefarious or not, do you know the Washington Monument is 555 feet tall, which is 6,660 inches, 666. I think the base measures something like that too. I didn't look at that. And it goes underground 111 feet for a total of 666 feet. You can go into these symbols all day long. They all point to the same thing. The obelisks, like the Washington Monument, every single country has one. You can go on Google and search it, and they'll give you a big, like, they'll show you like 100 countries, and they all have that. Like, I live in Ottawa, Canada, the capital, and we have one here too. You know where that goes back to, eh? So do you know what an obelisk represents? They always try to tell you it doesn't mean anything, but it does. They're all pagan worship that stretches back to Nimrod at the Tower of Babel. People doubt it because that's what Satan wants. This is what we're fighting against. I believe the United States is just an extension of Rome and the Vatican for many reasons. I don't mean completely, but that's what I believe. Never forget just how powerful they are and still are. People like to say they're not right now because of China. Believe me, they are. The dying Roman Empire usurped its power to Christianity to hold political power and might. What would you do when all the Germanic tribes and all these brutal tribes were starting to attack your borders and taking over and defeating you? As you know, the WF in Davos had their annual meeting the other week. All these characters are beyond righteous. We already recognize that they aren't elected but wield unknown powers through influence through governments and mega companies like BlackRock, which owns about 12% of the world's wealth. That train disaster that just happened, that BlackRock is the shareholders of that. These are the people who push a green agenda 2030 while hundreds if not thousands of jets, private ones, come to Davos. Think about that. Think of the hypocrisy in that. How much CO2 would that equal in human beings for just one day? Millions, probably. It could be more than that. Think of it. I think there was something like 1,000 jets. They were in the hundreds. That's why they're hypocrites. Speaking of BlackRock, I heard their owner, they seem to own almost everything, especially in America. When you have super mega rich companies, as the years go on, they get richer and richer, and we get poorer because they own everything. I'm not thinking in a communistic way, believe me. But where do you draw a line before they own 100%? That's why we are where we are right now. Greed and lust, covetousness. It just represents to me another reason why God needs to stop that progress, like the Tower of Babel, or rather regression, like the Tower of Babel, which I'm on right now in my own Bible study. So I'm reading Genesis and Job. I'm on Genesis 19 and Job 7. I'm reading Job for obvious reasons. I watched a presentation from Davos. It looks like this is going to come here based on what I saw or what they're trying to propose. It's about brainwaves, precognition crime. This is real, and it works. Have you seen Minority Report with Tom Cruise? It's like that. These waves can identify if you're thinking like the wrong thing, like sex, lust, anger, and so on. Can you imagine a world like that? And then, everything would attach to the carbon footprint, what you look on your, I heard there of an electronic footprint too. And then they judge you based on that, which is communistic. Like everyone will know what you look at and what you do, and they'll judge you based on that. These people are insane. I'm sure you've heard of Yuval Noah Harari. He blasphemes God in a way, I gotta check if this is recording. He blasphemes God. I ask you to look it up in a way you've never heard before, and tells us that God is fake news. And I'm sorry, but, so this is what he said, and I'm sorry, but now the game is over because humans are hackable. Like he's saying, I'm a god. I'm a god. There is no God. That's what he's saying. He's going to end up like the guy who drank the wrong cup in Indiana Jones. You know, the face melting part? The cup of life. The Holy Grail. He seems to be the brains behind the WEF and has the ear of presidents and the elite. Boy. You best believe that central bank digital currency and government IDs, which are the most frightful due to all control being lost, are implemented by them. So they're making this happen. When you hear of all these insane ideas, it's from them. Probably all the sabotage too that's going on. A couple days ago, I heard the Brazilian president in a TV broadcast, I heard this unredacted, that his Social Security residents, like people who are on Social Security, wouldn't get it if they didn't agree to get their children vaccinated. I'm on Social Security too, guys, and I'm in Canada, and it's not far from there, like the Western Hemisphere. How can that be more evil? And what he said was, if it took 15 or even 50 vaccinations, which we know it doesn't stop transmission, Pfizer is very powerful, these places. I may have to do 2 videos. How can they do this when it's proven that it doesn't stop transmission? People out there are still wearing masks, yes. Old people die, but I see people in masks out on pathways in nature in the wide open spaces. You know what? I don't judge, but I want to say something, That's what's been pounded in their brains over and over. Would a mask help? I'm sure it would. But you know what people never did? Since the beginning, I just thought it sounds so stupid. I knew it right from the beginning. You have a mask on here, right? What about your eyes? Droplets can go on your eyes. Droplets can go in your ears. So it never made sense to me. yeah, a droplet can go through the skin that way, and it can definitely go through your eyes and your eyelids. So don't take me for this because I don't know if it's true or not, but it makes sense. How long did it take for you to hear about the chemical train disaster? So it was about 1 week for me. I heard from a show called Doug and Stacy Off the Grid, which is good. I think they're Amish. Excellent show. I just heard the guy theorize that the balloons were possibly launched to distract from that wreck. If that's true, there's never been a more corrupt government. Would that surprise you, or that your own president wouldn't even appear to them or on TV to ease the situation? And he goes to Ukraine. These people could die and get cancer, you know? The more I learn about him, the more I can see an Antichrist-like figure, no matter what he is. I've never seen and I've prayed for him, okay? Because I heard you should pray for everyone, all politicians. I've never seen a politician in modern history like him, like just, he lies every single day, and so do the rest of the Democratic Party. He visits Ukraine but doesn't even go to the southern border and visit East Palestine, not even acknowledging it. That's crazy. So when I think of the Democratic Party and the president, I think of, you know, the saying, you know, their consciences are sealed with a hot iron. Boy. I want to get out of this picture, believe me. You can't make them here no matter the urgency. Think about it. Your border can make or break your country, or the West. This is communism and purposeful destruction. Or just the elite. I don't know how they can defend people coming through illegally by those numbers and shame you if you disagree, but it's against the law of the land to protect you, people in the States. As much as people anywhere, people don't like Donald Trump. His actions spoke louder than words, but we're twisted. He may be a narcissist, he may have all those traits, but I believe he actually cares, and his resume proves so. He's the one narcissist that I do like. So here's a new tobacco. This is really sad. You can only, so think of tobacco, big tobacco. You can only imagine how many died from cigarettes, right? Tens of millions in North America alone. I just heard a study done for kids under the ages of 18 and 20 years old. Things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. And the time they spend on it is making 54% of all kids depressed and anxiety problems. No wonder, right? Not exercising and being outside or constructive. Of those 54%, I think it said 1/3 of them attempt or think about suicide. It could be bigger. This could end up being bigger than big tobacco, you know, because that includes sitting down, drinking, eating horribly, and you know, with electronics, just sitting down and letting, you know, getting overweight and everything. Let's face it, it's adversely affecting the globe. Electronic devices are the devil to many who can't use them properly. They're dumbing us down with the driverless cars. Those electric cars, they're burning, and they're burning out of control very quickly. If you overcharge them, they will blow up. No cashiers, everything is at our palms. Work from home and on and on. No imagination anymore. Kids are losing their imaginations. COVID trapped kids indoors with masks. Kids, and everyone for that matter, they need their endorphins flowing for energy and imagination. I often wonder how advancements are advancing us. It's more like turning it into advancing itself without us, and I'm not even kidding. Programs can be written, and like they can literally write themselves now. And rules can be followed by these computers. The Terminator is here. I could live without this stuff. I probably couldn't now, because so handy with my disabilities, but if I didn't have them, I would prefer to live without. I'm 44. I still remember not having them. As I'm writing this, Turkey just got a 6.4 earthquake. Why do you think so many? Tell me what you think. Is it because it's a giant continental fault settling itself, or is it God, or both? Okay, what's this? PBB. These are just, I don't know if this is real, I'm just sharing this. Project Bluebeam. This is only hearsay. That's just a conspiracy theory. Who knows if it could be real. But also good for you to know based on the idea that a giant deception will occur at some time. Have you heard of Project Bluebeam, which is a fake second coming of Jesus Christ, so the Antichrist and the government can gain unequivocal full control over people and be so convincing that religious debate and arguments would be settled? It wouldn't with everyone, I know that. I watched Pastor Tom Hughes explain that a man from the 1980s, he was just talking on TV the other day, with high clearance in the US somewhere, went into a mountainous area that was top secret. He went into like caves and entrances, and he came to a room where a stealth bomber was floating in midair, just floating. He was frightened because it was just suspended. A guy said, "Do you know what this is?" And he said, "It's a stealth bomber." And the guy said, "Yes, but it's not real." It's a hologram. So if that's the 1980s, just picture what they have now. I'm not saying what they say will happen, but it could and most certainly have the technology. The man that unleashed the information was a Quebec man. So you can find this on Wikipedia. It shows all the stages that how it would be done. A Quebec man who, him and his partner were both murdered after revealing it. So it's on Wikipedia. Project Bluebeam. The plan is that NASA, with more advancements since the 80s with satellites, and there's 3,000 of them up there, and 25,000 planned. I think that's a Starlink. Why do they need so many? I heard that they don't need that many. The idea says, so it's in stages, and there will be such a giant light show of fake invasion of UFOs. While they use low wave frequency, will broadcast voices into your mind about God, and most people would believe it. Could they do that? I don't know. They will use real explosives to trick people, but all the holograms would be fake. I believe fully by science they can achieve it, and you hear of people in China saying that they are seeing cities in the sky. So China, I think, is quite advanced with these holograms. I'm careful on my time here because it didn't upload so well one of my last ones. Do I believe they could project a city in the sky? Who knows? Maybe. So right now you can buy 3D holograms on Amazon. You can get them for like $600, the good ones. They're about like that big, and they can project a person that's like 3 feet high. So who knows? That'll be on maybe FaceTime and stuff, and Zoom and stuff. Watch out for deceptions. Pardon me. I am so uncomfortable, I can't begin to tell you. The Pope and homosexuality is open apostasy and rebellion, isn't it? It was an impossible notion before that the Vatican would take that stance. I'm not a hater of anyone, but it's sin and lust. If you're a Catholic, how can you trust a man that is openly rebelling against God? Those are the things that made me look into it. Not only that, is spreading it around the world. Does the Pope read a Bible? Does he really read his Bible? His actions of trying to make a one-world religion or community, which he has, is just as bad. Biblically, we know it can't work. Tell me in the comments. Does God consider homosexuality worse than other sins? It's quite a debate. I ask because part of the debate lies around why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Was it that or just the entirety of Sodom and Gomorrah the evil, or was it actual sodomy? We know sodomy, the name, arose from there, so it must mean something. Okay, this topic hits close to, let me see here. I don't know how I did this. Close to home for me, and it does have to do with end times according to Timothy. Men will be boastful and proud. The epidemic of narcissism and narcissists in general. What a topic. If you've never been affected by one, I have to say you have no idea about what these people can do, what they do. I say in all honesty that the souls to me feel demonic, and I'll explain why. The end goal of a narcissist is to destroy you. You don't believe me? You're going to have to do some reading. And I hope you never have to come across one. 6% of the population or something. They mirror your behavior to get in with you. Maybe they care at first and idealize you, and they have attraction for you, but it gets evil. At first they're receptive to you, and they do what's called love bombing to reel you in and make you feel like a king or a queen. There are two main types: overt, which is obvious and open for everyone to see, and covert, which means undercover and not easily identifiable. They idealize you first and can even make you feel like you're the narcissist. After some time, they purposely gaslight you to make you doubt the truth of your own reality. The overt type might cut you down openly, but the covert does it cut by cut to the point of slowly torturing you. The covert is vulnerable and usually quiet and has anxiety. They play victim to get your sympathy. They're also called the vulnerable narcissist. Have nothing to do with such people, right, Timothy? Imagine a human being, their whole purpose in life to cut other people down to make themselves feel better. It's biblical, and I'll explain. It was like a pit opened. Remember the Amber Heard trial? I watched it all. She's a narcissist and probably other things wrong. She lied on the stand over and over and over. Everything you heard was made up. With fatherless societies and violent households, kids end up the same. Let me say, though, that deciding to hurt other people is a choice. There are many violent households that kids turn out to be the best kind of people and fight against such things. It is a choice. I was affected. They want to make you feel their pain that they felt. I was affected by one, so I know. If you know what I'm talking about and know about the Bible, it's hard to see how evil the end goal is of a narcissist. See, it's only of late that these things have been exposed, and there are so many videos concerning it. I think I'm done here. I'm going to close this video with this. When COVID struck, didn't you notice how everything changed? Before, the government worked for us, the people. It felt like a worldwide game. Each country doing and making draconian rules up. Ever since that time, it's all politics and control. It's all politics and control. If you go on a computer and you're on YouTube, you'll see there's a ton of it. I watch politics and sometimes debates in assemblies. It was on C-SPAN, before, like that's how you would have to go and really find it. Well, that's changed, and it feels like they are all Hollywood actors. All these things used to be private and now have turned out very public, and now it's all you hear about. That's the end of my video. I'm just going to say a quick prayer. Just want to say a prayer for everyone in this video. I came on here to talk about God. I may not be able to continue these videos. I had another channel, and I had to stop because I was too unwell. I may have to do with this or just make one occasionally, but I hope to see you all, what choice I make. Pre-mid or post-tribulation, who cares? Be ready. love one another, love God, and do the right things. So I pray for everyone in this room. Come, Lord, soon, that we can all get that so we don't have to fear, we don't have to go through pain, we don't have to be in a world where everyone is fake and everyone, you have to worry about deceit and all that stuff. And so I hope to see everyone in the clouds, literally. I hope to see everyone in heaven, new earth, millennium, whatever. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from every evil. Amen. Thanks for watching today.